morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from across the city and in your local jurisdiction, where you should always call your state representative if you're unhappy about something. This is the Life Midwest Podcast, a social sciences podcast that focuses on, well, a lot of shoot from the hip topics. This week is definitely going to be no different. If you remember back in episode 30 for the big 3-0, we were talking to Laura Skiba on a My Friend episode, and we got to thinking, what if we had an emo kid on the show, like today, like one who is like still young and is still emo, not like Laura and I being like late 20s and emo. What would it be like? What's different? What do they think is cool? What do their friends think are cool? Things like that. Is punk still dead? It was punk shit. Things like that. We're going to cover all those questions today and more. But I want to introduce a very, very special guest that we have this week. My co-host, Derpidoo, or Lenny. I don't even know what the hell to call him anymore on this show, but here he is.
Just call me Lenny, dude. We've gone over this more than one time.
Most people say, hi, thanks for having me on. It's great to be here, but whatever.
I've done that already. Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
It's good to be back.
My name's Lenny. How's life been treating you since your episode way back in the day?
Life's been pretty good. Stressful.
Yeah.
But that's just life. That's about it. Working a lot.
Speaking of stressful, I did hear a little munchkin in the background. Was that your son?
Yeah, that's the 4-year-old.
I heard you call him. I heard him when we were getting ready for the show here. I heard you call him a dingus, and I'm like 99% sure he called you a dingus back.
Yeah, he does.
He is 1000% your son.
Yes, he is.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just sitting here and I'm like, did he just call Lenny a dingus back?
Yeah, we got to be careful about swearing because he'll swear back at us. And he's going into a kindergarten next year. Well, he's 4. And sometimes he's just a hurricane. Anyways, going back to it, he's going into a like private preschool, like kindergarten prep. And it's a Christian-based school, so we have to be really careful about just his swearing. So it's going to be interesting.
You got to teach him the really good stuff before he goes in there then.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Maybe be like super inconspicuous about it and just like throw like, teach him the words, but like in alternate languages.
I do know some Russian swear words thanks to TikTok, so maybe I'll teach him that.
Solid plan. And he's not the only munchkin you have. In fact, one of your other munchkins is our other special guest today. Isn't that right?
That's right. Not really a munchkin, more like a big teenage stink. So we actually have Ace with us today, and they're 13, and they're going to say hi.
Hi.
That's very nice. I would describe Ace as an emo kid. I don't know if like they would describe themselves this way.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be an interesting conversation that we're going to have. Okay.
Gotcha. Well, I think the first question I want to ask you, Ace, is just tell me just a little bit about yourself. This isn't, lucky for you, this isn't a My Friends episode, so we're not going to be here for an entire hour talking about all the unfun stuff. It's really going to be about getting your opinions. But I do want you to tell a little bit about yourself for the audience here.
Well, I'm 13. I'm in middle school, 8th grade.
They're not from the Midwest. I should preface that right away. So Ace was born here in the state of Washington, and aside from like a Florida trip, they have been to the Midwest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for like a week and a half we went.
I was worried we were going to have to scrap the show.
Well, no, when Brittany and I came, Ace came with us.
Oh, okay.
That one time.
Gotcha.
So they've been to the Midwest and they've been to Florida, and that's about it.
Was that the time that you, Brittany, Michael, and I were at Moe's?
Yeah, and then like everybody else showed up.
So grew up on the West Coast. You are a West Coast kid, Ace. Not only do I get to interview an emo kid, I get to interview an emo kid from the West. So that's pretty sick. Particularly, you're basically in the grunge scene. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do know what that is.
You do know what that is because you are a cool fucking kid. I love this already. All right, so here's my first question for you. Like, I guess, and Lenny kind of brought it up when he preloaded it. He said, I don't know if Ace considers themselves emo. Do you consider yourself emo, or is it called something different now?
It's still called emo. There are different things like, punk, as you said. There's goth, but then there's also e-kids, which sometimes they get mistaken for emos, and the others.
Okay, gotcha. So so when you say e-kids, you're talking about like the Fortnite dancers, like those people?
I'm pretty sure that's strictly on how they dress. Doesn't matter what music they listen to, but they wear a lot of chains, and they often wear striped shirts under t-shirts, long sleeve shirts under.
Okay. So, but it's still considered something different from like punk or goth or scene. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there, and obviously, like when Lenny and I were growing up, like we had different ones too. Like there was like straight edge, there was scene. Are you familiar with those ones?
I don't know what straight edge is, but I know what scene is.
Okay, so like straight edge was essentially like it was somebody who like this like rocker type of kid, but they didn't drink or do any drugs or like party or anything, but they were considered like edgy as fuck. So hence the term straight edge.
Yeah, like they wanted to present themselves as like being hardcore without like like you said, drinking or smoking or doing drugs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then scene, like obviously if that's still a thing, then probably scene was kind of like a sub-brand of emo, I feel like.
I'm interested to hear, Ace, I want you to describe scene, because for us, or at least what I feel scene was like light emo. It was like emo to a lesser degree. Kevin, would you say that's true?
Oh, 1000%, like Circa Survive, and yeah, 100%.
That sounds about how it still is. Yeah. Pastel emo kids.
Pastel emo, you know what? I love that. You know what? We're gonna freaking trademark that. That's great. I love that.
Well, no, that's a thing. Like pastel goth, and like pastel is like has its own subgenre of like everything else.
I've never heard that before.
I don't know if it's like so much a thing like as popular as it used to be, but like 3-4 years ago it was like super popular, like on Tumblr and stuff.
Interesting. Huh. This is going exactly how I thought it would, where I'm just like learning a bunch of shit and I'm just feeling really, really old. So Ace, I turned 31 in 3 months. You're making me feel especially old today, but I appreciate it. So, hey, when we come back, actually, you know what? I just had Lenny, our special guest co-host today. You want to take us to the break, man?
Car.
Welcome back to the Life Midwest podcast, the only podcast that talks about the Midwest, interviews people on the West Coast, and makes Wayne World references.
Game on!
See, kids? If you're looking for ways to support us, we do have a PayPal that's live for direct support. It does cost money to run the show, and we do it out of love. But hey, if you want to help us out with that, we appreciate it. Gets you a shout out on the show. PayPal.me/TheLifeMidwest. You can also support us for free by interacting with us or emailing us at support@thelifemidwest.com or reaching out to any of our major social platforms at The Life Midwest. Either way, no matter where you go, it's all one word, no spaces. Man, did we get lucky. It's just hard to get something unique when you put the as your first word. So blame Wes, not me. Speaking of Wes, want to give him a quick shout out, of course, working his tail off, 3 jobs, and he's got that big trip to Thailand coming up in just a couple of months. So if you're not sure what we're talking about, tune into episode 29. Our friend Wes will get you up to speed real fast. And by real fast, I mean like 29 minutes, whatever it was. Also want to shout out Derpadu at the $5 level for buying us tacos, but I'm actually I'm gonna say take Ace out to tacos as a thank you for being on the show this week. Ace, how are you hanging out? How you doing?
I'm good.
Good?
Yep.
Chilling?
Yep.
Just chilling.
Like
a true emo kid, just chilling. Just vibing.
Yeah.
The next question I want to ask you is what kind of bands do you listen to, and like what kind of bands do your friends listen to?
Well, I don't know what kind of bands my friends listen to. My friend Cassie's the only one who has similar music tastes, but she also mostly just listens to rock music. All my other friends, one of them, they're mostly into K-pop, and then the other one just listens to whatever is on the radio now. That's
super interesting because and Lenny, feel free to chime in here. I feel like for us, if someone didn't listen to the same music, it was almost kind of segregating in a way. Like you had to like the same genre of music, or you had to at least like know of the bands in order to be like in the friend group or whatever. Like if you didn't have similar music taste, you weren't like an outcast, but it's like, I don't know. We were like friends, but we're not like best friends.
So here's like, this is going to make you feel like really old, and it kind of makes me feel old sometimes too. But like that, like sort of like gatekeeping that we did just isn't a thing anymore. And like, I know that we didn't think of it as gatekeeping, but it was.
Oh yeah. Sure.
But like the style, like, so like that aesthetic, like the emo kid aesthetic is totally separated for the, like, I think a lot of part from like the music itself. And that goes for like most like styles that kids have. You can open that. It's fine. Yeah. Sorry. She's got a monster she's going to open. Granted, she does like listen, like we sometimes force her to listen to emo music because that's what Brittany and I listen to for,
right.
But outside of that, like emo is pretty separated from music, I think. Am I wrong?
No, pretty accurate.
That's incredibly interesting. And I love that she's drinking a Monster, by the way, because that's you have no idea. That is just so emo. I mean, do you have a necklace of like the Monster tabs too?
No, I don't.
No, it sounds like you've thought about it.
Sometimes.
I'm glad that's still a thing. That makes my heart happy. So again, like it's really interesting that the music is not necessarily tied to the style or the aesthetics or like the looks. But I still want to know what kind of bands you listen to still.
Bands are scattered all over the place, but I mostly listen to My Chemical Romance, Green Day, some Sum 41, little Paramore, some Fall Out Boy, Nirvana.
You're missing one very important one. Where are we going in November, you and me?
Alkaline Trio.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know. Who's more excited for that? You or Lenny?
I think Lenny.
It's definitely me.
I think so too. Who's opening for them? Are you excited for whoever's opening for them?
I don't know anything about it. All I was told is that, hey, do you want to go to an Alkaline Trio concert? And I was like, yeah. And then that was the end of the entire conversation.
So it's I can't remember like the opening act, but they're touring with Bad Religion.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Well, Ace, when they play "Time to Waste," that is my favorite song by them. Maybe you can think of this old fart and just have a few good head nods for me, even if you hate the song, even if you're like, shit, but I'll do it for this guy, I guess. Whatever. It's funny, and Lenny, you probably already know this, and that's probably why you're having Ace on here. But that's the same shit we listen to.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? And so I think part of it is it's definitely like a product of like that nature versus nurture argument. Because like I'm sure like the music that your parents listened to like you were growing up had a major impact on like your taste now, and even I'm sure you still like to listen to those bands, right? So
to a degree, yeah. I mean, my dad doesn't listen to Young Jeezy, but I do. I get what you're saying, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't expect your parents to listen to the new music, right? Like in the same way, like they were talking about like listening to BTS and things like that. I don't listen to K-pop because I'm old and grumpy and crusty. So
crusty.
Yeah. I listen to the music that I grew up listening to, that I grew to like on my own.
I actually enjoy K-pop and J-rock.
Yeah, but you've always kind of listened to that stuff. Like even when we were in high school.
I also listened to, in addition to K-pop and J-rock, I listened to G-hop.
What is that?
That is German hip-hop.
Okay.
It's not a thing. I'm actually completely fucking with you, but
you son of a, I can't swear because the 4-year-old's right here, but
I really wanted to hear him say it though. And Jesus said unto Abraham, "You son of a bitch." I think I heard him say it in toddler language. I think that's what that was.
Oh no, he said it a couple times while we were getting set up. Because when I was swearing, he was saying it.
Like when you took that really awesome picture of the back of your computer looking for help with the inputs.
Yeah. When I said that, and I sent you that shaky picture, and I was like, "Son of a bitch," and he immediately was like, "Son of a bitch."
Oh man, I love that he's a part of the show. I can't. If this show still goes on when he gets older, we should have him on and just listen back to him in the background and have him commentate on it. That'd be great.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So, next question for you, Ace, is what's the proper attire for those that are emo? Like what is it like for like guys versus girls, for instance?
Well, I don't see a lot of guy emos. It's mostly just women. But sometimes they'll wear like a lot of belts, platforms, leggings with a lot of holes in them, stockings with a lot of holes in them, a lot of bracelets, chokers, necklaces, short sleeve, long sleeve. I don't know.
Like band tees?
Yeah.
Okay. What about hair?
Their hair looks like they damaged it a lot.
Like from dyeing or cutting?
Dyeing.
Okay.
And heat damage.
A little too much with the flat iron.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're saying that on purpose, Lenny. Like I know something about that.
I might be.
So like, okay, so I want to describe for you, Ace, I want to describe for you like at the height of my emonymity. I'm just making up that word.
Okay.
The height of my emo-ness. I want to describe to you like what I wear and what I used to wear and like what I used to do and like how similar you feel like that is. Okay. So
okay.
I either had Chucks, like Chuck Taylors, like Converse or Vans, right? A lot of guys would wear like skinny jeans, but I went as far as wearing like girl jeans because the guy skinny jeans weren't tight enough for my skinny ass.
I need to stop you right there because I realized something like in preparation for this is that we didn't really have like skinny jeans at the time. Like towards like our like junior and senior years of high school, they started making skinny jeans for dudes, but when it started, there were no skinny jeans for dudes and it was just girl jeans.
Maybe that's why I did it, because I didn't have another choice.
That's exactly why you did it. And I don't mean that in like an accusatory way. I'm
Yeah.
just confirming what you're saying.
Oh, okay. No. I appreciate that because I specifically remember I would, go to Hot Topic, maybe not at the apex of my, emo phase, but like I would notice that they would call them skater jeans is what they called them at Hot Topic. I don't know if they still call them that, but I do remember the double belts. I would wear one belt for functionality and one belt for style. You kind of wear it like off the hip kind of thing.
Yeah.
Man, that was so cool. I loved doing that. You would do the band t-shirt. Always had to be a band t-shirt. Had to. If it was colder out or whatever, didn't matter how cold it was. I had a fake leather jacket. Didn't care. Fake leather jacket or something black, whatever. And I have naturally brown hair, but I dyed my hair black and kind of in the face a little bit, and then eyeliner. And there was like a 1 month stretch where I painted my nails black too. So I was in pretty deep. But I want you to tell me how that compares to like today.
That sounds about how it still is, except I don't really know because most of the guys that I've seen are just highlighters. They wear bright neon shorts and bright neon shirts.
The neon thing came into emo. It sounds like that's still like the main. Oh, you're just talking about dudes in general?
Yeah, I'm just talking about dudes in general.
Oh, gotcha.
Now I feel old.
That's all right. We're all in this together here. So, what's funny is that the neon shorts kind of reminded me of like, actually, that's when I pictured that. That's when I was like, oh, is that an E-Kid? Because I just picture somebody with like a Vineyard Vines long sleeve with like neon pink shorts, and they just walk around listening to like crabcore. No, not at all.
No.
Completely missed the boat on that. That's okay. That's all right. I expected to miss the boat on a lot of these things. So, out of curiosity, though, like we had groups in high school, right? Like,
Yeah.
and not just emo and scene and straight edge, but there was like preppy and there was like nerd. Like, are those like jocks? Like, are those still a thing, or do you guys call them something different?
Those are still a thing. Yeah.
Okay, so Ace, expand on that. Like, what are some groups that you guys have in school that you don't think like we would have had?
Like I said, band kids.
Yeah, Kevin was a band kid.
I don't really know if there's any that you wouldn't have had. I mean,
Well, like we didn't have like e-boys or things like that. So, or like cottagecore wasn't a thing.
Cottage what? Cheese?
no, cottagecore. They're like
Soft boys.
Soy boys?
No.
No. I'm really trying here.
So like cottagecore is
Soy Boy, by the way, is your local part-time associate at GameStop. For anyone who was wondering.
So cottagecore is so like those moody pictures you get where like somebody's looking out like a rainy window and it's foggy and like they're in the forest.
Yeah.
And that like something like that. But like think of that like inside. So they've got like succulents and mosses and like big sweaters and
okay.
it's like it's very comfy.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. Okay, cottage, and I hear cottage. I think of either cottage cheese or I think of the old Pepperidge Farm commercials. I don't know. I listen. Look. Part of being okay with being off base is admitting that you're off base. So that's all right. I do want to ask about like classic rock. I want to know what you consider classic rock, like band wise.
I don't listen to classic rock at all.
At all? Okay.
Would you say that some of the music that like your mom and I listen to, would you consider that classic rock because it's like old by your standard?
No, not really.
Oh, thank God. Honestly, that was the question I really wanted to ask, and I saved it for last just in case you broke my heart. That honestly makes me so happy. So
being called like an emo kid for us was almost derogatory, but we also co-opted it. You know, Kevin, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like I feel like at first when somebody would be like, oh, you're so emo, and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? But then I just kind of embraced it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I am. That's exactly what I am.
Is there like, aside from like racial slurs, like if somebody were to like label you as like your style or your aesthetic was like, what would be like the equivalent for that? So like being called emo for us was like at first was like a bad thing, but like I said, we co-opted it and like made it our own. Is there anything like similar for that? Like if somebody like called you like an e-girl, like would you be upset about it?
If someone called me an e-girl, yes, I would be upset about it. Because I am not an e-girl. I don't know.
You just don't really care, do you?
I don't really care, yeah.
Dear diary, mood, I don't care. Wait, do you know the song? Do you know the song, Ace?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, all right. I want you I want you to ask Lenny to show that to you after we get done recording.
Okay.
Lenny, I'm disappointed in you.
I can only do so much.
Hey, this has been great. I really appreciate having you both on. Ace, before we start going to the shout outs, is there anything that you want to ask an old emo guy?
No, I don't really have any questions.
No, because you already know everything as a teenager, right?
No.
Oh, now you don't know shit? Oh my god. Oh no.
I barely speak correctly. What makes you think I know everything?
Oh man. All right. Well, folks, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. It's time for the shout outs. And I want to give Ace the honor of shouting out whoever they want to shout out as a special thank you for being a guest on today's show. You got anybody you want to shout out, Ace?
No, nobody I know deserves a shout out.
Jesus Christ.
Spoken like a true emo.
You don't want to like shout out like Kira or Cassie or anybody? No. Okay.
Now the question is, do I leave that part in so her friends know that they don't deserve the shout out?
Please, I'm gonna make a Kira listen to this. When it's done.
All right, deal. The shout out is no shout outs. That's how you know we had a true emo on the show this week. Lenny, who you want to shout out, buddy?
So Kevin, first I want to shout out, of course, Ace for agreeing to come on. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, kid. She just gave me a really sarcastic thumbs up. So I'd also like to shout out my 4-year-old for being not so interruptive. That was really nice. Hey, bub, come here. Okay, say hi.
Hi.
And let's see, a couple more shout outs. So shout out to Brittany, my wife, because without her I wouldn't have these stinking kids. And then Wes, shout out to you, man, for helping create this thing. I hope work's going well, and that you have a good time in Thailand when that time comes. Time in Thailand. And Kevin, I'll shout you out too for just having this platform for this to exist.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, I just thought of something really funny. And it's kind of a weird question, but Ace, do you follow your mom on Twitter?
No.
That's not a your mom joke. Okay, all right. I'm gonna put Brittany at the top of my shout outs because she allowed this to happen, and also obviously, is the reason why our two guests tonight are where they are. So I think back to that tweet that she had, Lenny, where she said, decided to fuck around and birth a human today, no big deal.
Oh yeah, your mom said that when Rosalind was born.
I still think that's one of the funniest things I've ever read on Twitter.
Yeah, that was a good one. Follow my wife for more hot takes, like laughing at people that are anti-vax. Yeah, she's a riot. She really is. I can't even say quiet riot because there's nothing quiet about her tweets. But no.
But she's a very wonderful person once you get to know her. Shout out to Lenny, of course. Thank you for being on the show. Big shout out to Ace. Appreciate you coming on. I'm sure things like this are always probably weird and uncomfortable, and it's like, why do these people even want to talk to me? I don't feel like I have anything interesting to say. Trust me, you're going to start to feel a lot different over the coming years. You will feel like you have plenty of interesting things to say. That's just kind of how it goes. Shout out Wes again. And hey, when we come back next week, We're going to continue our series on overthinking through the pandemic. Just kidding. It's more so about, uplifting, inspirational stuff. So stick around, tune back in for that. And we'll have a new My Friend episode coming up pretty soon here too. But I'm not going to tell you how. Until then, call your mom. We'll talk to you guys next week, next Saturday, and every Saturday here on the Life Midwest podcast. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye.